my gosh, it's not a video game! Well, hello, people. Presumably from the server, since I'm assuming that you're gonna be the only ones watching. This, to everybody's grand surprise, is not a video game. This is real life. Okay, so what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm gonna stop letting you stare at the balcony, but we're gonna focus on this little part of the apartment, which is a kitchen. Oh my god. As you've probably already guessed from the title, this is gonna be cooking. And yes, that may sound strange, but the whole reason I'm doing this is that I know that Claw, WrongtownClaw, is mostly living off junk food. And he said he's living off that because he doesn't know how to cook. So I'm not a great cook myself. I'm rather rubbish. But I thought that I'd at least share the few skills that I have at cooking, so he can live somewhat decent, I suppose. And this is not going to be like a regular thing. It's just whenever I have the time to do so and I actually know a recipe to cook. But like, don't expect any sort of LP stuff from me, because that is just too much. I don't have the time to record and edit the whole thing and then put up regular episodes and I don't know what. So I'll try this out, and maybe if I like it, I will continue it. Okay. Oh, yeah, and maybe I should mention I'm recording this on a rather old camera. This thing holds tapes, if you still remember what that is. A tape. And it doesn't go above 480p, so excuse the quality. Okay, I'm running out of time here. We're gonna cook one of the most basic things ever. We're gonna make spaghetti. Okay, so what we're gonna need for spaghetti is, well, quite obviously, spaghetti. And I'm not taking this sweater off because it's freezing. Either this fat isn't properly heated or it's just the weather. Then we're gonna need a immensely oversized pan. This is way too big. I already know it's gonna be too big. Then we're gonna need some sort of pot to cook noodles in. Then what else? We are going to need oil. We're going to need onions. And in case you like it, I like it, garlic. Then tomato sauce, or real tomatoes. This stuff already has tomatoes in it, but if it doesn't, you're probably gonna need real tomatoes as well. Then this, I couldn't really find a proper translation for it. It's just sort of like a thick tomato paste. Tomato. Excuse my pronunciation. Then we're gonna need something to stir things around with. I'm gonna promise you at some point you're gonna need a fork. And then Alfie's favorite tool, a knife. We all know that Alfie likes to cut things. And then you don't really need as many herbs as I'm using, but I like my stuff spicy, so I'm using quite a few. And then salt and pepper, and then, of course, meat. Well, the meat isn't actually necessary, but I'm gonna use the meat. Okay, since I don't really have enough time, let's get started. Warning, the amount of food made in this video was enough to feed Econ for the rest of the weekend and would probably be good for a family of 3 to 4 people. Point being, don't use as many ingredients as I did. Okay, so the first thing you will want to do is fill the, also, well, this isn't, actually probably isn't oversized, but just fill the big pot with water. Okay, done. That's enough. So, as you can tell, the pot should probably be rather full. Okay. Okay, so we are at the first part where my memory fails me, but we'll make it work. First, let's add a bit of salt to our water. Because, I don't know, salt can never be bad. And then we're gonna need to get this water to cook, as far as I can remember. The noodles go in later, I think. So yeah, at this point it would probably be helpful if you had more stove plates to work with, but this thing, well, you can't see it on the camera, but there's a good plate here which is broken, fortunately. But yeah. Covering up the pot. Play too much Minecraft. But covering up that pot with something will turn out useful. For sure. Okay, so while the water is cooking, we're gonna work on the sauce because we have nothing better to do. And we're gonna start that by cutting up onions. Yay, who doesn't like cutting up onions and crying? This will be so much fun. Okay, onion. I'm not gonna need the whole onion, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just gonna split it in half for now. I don't know what this will come to. But yeah, start out by cutting the onion. And Claw, whilst you're cooking onions, the knife is only supposed to hurt the onions, okay? So I just want to, and you're gonna have to cry anyway with these things, so don't use the knife for anything stupid. I managed to cut half an onion. I'm so proud of myself. Let's add another quarter. And I can feel the tears coming. Oh no. Goddamn onions, what have you done to me? Okay, start working on the sauce. Now that we've cut the onions. So, we're gonna need oil and, yeah, there's the bottle cap of the oil. This is what we're gonna need to do. So, put oil in the immensely oversized pan. I don't know why I'm using this thing, it's just the best I could find around my house, I suppose. So since we have too big of a pan, I'm probably also going to need too much oil. Oh well. Now, turn on the stove, as we do with everything. And we're going to have to use this thing, or just... probably even a spoon could do this. Ooh, I may have picked the wrong pen. Like, my dad has all sorts of special kitchen devices and I never know what to use. But we're just gonna put the onions in and assume that everything is fine. And we may really need more onions. Also, I should maybe mention, I have a tendency to always make too much sauce. Simply because I like sauce. And as you can probably tell, I don't really know how much of what to use. I go by feeling, which sometimes turns out to be a good thing, sometimes it turns out to be a bad thing. And simply because I have nothing to do right now, I'm just going to cut the rest of this onion. Okay, so this should be enough onion, and now we need to wait until it heats up. So, waiting time. Zip of tea. because nothing works without tea. Okay, so I can tell that some of these onions are starting to get like a little brownish color to them, which I remember to be good. And it's been a while since I've cooked. It's been a while, and when I cook I usually cook with friends, so I sort of feel more safe. But this is good practice for me, and up until now I've never messed up a meal, which seems to be a wonder, but it happened. Now you're probably also lucky that I'm not cooking with my friends, because I've created some very strange things with my friends. Wow. Gut. Auf was? Auf Joghurt and really strange things. Okay, so I'd assume that these onions are done. They sort of look a little roasted, which I think is what we need. So, we're gonna add the meat. Woo! And this is how you add meat to the whole thing. Okay, so this is gonna be hard to talk over, but I'm gonna do my best. So you don't actually need to use meat. You can like use, I don't know, canned tuna or anything, but if you do choose to use meat, you need to put the meat in before you put in the sauce. I'm almost, and I think I'm close to screaming here, but that's fine. And I seriously hope that we're gonna have enough tomato sauce for this. Okay, so we are gonna need to do stuff with meat until it's sort of got a, you know, until all the red color is gone. Until it has the sort of, I don't know, until it has a meaty color. And whilst we're cooking the sauce, pay attention to your water. Mine is starting to cook. Okay, and the water is cooking. Turn it down all the way to, like what, 1 or 2 on the Richter scale? No, that's the wrong thing. And at this point it is probably also useful if you have something to get rid of the steam. Like we have this weird thing, which I'm not really sure whether or not it sucks up the steam or it just blows it away, but I think an open window will do just fine. Okay, so I think none of the meat is red anymore, and I just realized I should maybe even start working with the soon. This camera, but I think this is fine for now. Okay, so now, tomato sauce. And the nice thing about what I have here is that there's tomatoes already in it. Like, of course, it's sort of specially made for making salsa or something. I don't really know. And I'm trying to get the camera back here. And I think I made it. So yeah, I hope you can tell in the video, but there's like full tomatoes in here already, which is sort of nice because I'd assume that if you only have tomato sauce, you'd have to like cut the tomatoes in. And I hope I have enough sauce for this because I sort of made too much meat and onions, but this appears to be good. Okay, so now it's a matter of mixing again. Mix stuff together like it's nobody's business. Okay, so with the sauce being in there, it needs to like cook out the water or something before anyways. we can just let that sit for a little while, which is basically what I'm trying to get here, because now we're gonna need spaghetti. So this is the most difficult part, is figuring out how many spaghetti you're actually going to need, because I have no idea. Like, I could sit there and count until I reach like, what, 100 spaghetti? But that would take me ages and everything would probably burn. But I tend to make too much food because I live of it for, well, usually like 2 or 3 days. So I'm just gonna make too much. For now I have like this many spaghetti, which is around this thick, if that helps you, which is already, I'm gonna swear that this is gonna be too much, but I'm gonna add more. I'm just gonna add more and more, because I am a hungry little icon. So, this is probably useful. And I just throw them in and let them stick out. This is all I have to say to the spaghetti. Throw them in and let them stick out. Nobody cares. And I think we're gonna need to get this water cooking again. Or get it hotter again. Well, this is probably also where shall I put it? This comes in, the thing that I don't really know the name of. We're just gonna put some of this in here, because as far as I know, everybody does, and we're not gonna put too much, but quite a bit. I would assume and just mix it in. Maybe that makes a difference. But I have no idea what the actual purpose of it is. Too much water in the sauce. Speaking of the sauce, we should start adding things to it, like spices, which I tend to add too many of, because I like my stuff with a lot of herbs and spices and like a lot of flavor and whatever, but I'd assume that the English names are the same. These are mirrored, but I assume that you can read them. This is what I'm adding. I hope that you have some idea of what that is. And the thing I put in the beginning was this. Mixing. Salt. I know Claw likes stuff salty, so let's put a lot of salt into this. Now, pepper, but not too much, because I'm not that big of a fan of pepper, but let's throw some in, just for the heck of it. Do something. I want you to be an active member of the community, Noodles. Help me out here! Don't just sit there, start swimming, then do circus tricks. I have no idea why I'm shouting at the Noodles. Remember how I told you that you were going to need a fork at some point? You're going to need it now. Just going to pan away for now and start fishing for a noodle. Oh no, these need cooking, I can tell. They are still sticking together and stuff. But yeah, the fork is something that you're gonna need for the noodles. But be careful using it, because when making this with a friend, our fork fell into the noodle water and we had to use another fork to get our original fork out. Which was a bit of a weird situation, using a fork to get fork out. I just remembered, we forgot to add garlic into the sauce. The best of all things. Cutting up garlic and throwing it in there. I love garlic. It needs it to be in there. More garlic. And then murderize everybody with a knife. This sauce is just getting better and better. I should add more garlic though. Garlic! In the meantime, take another sip of tea, because what would econ be without tea? I'm pleased with the sauce, and I'm probably gonna eat everything up before these noodles finish. But these look quite good, so let's do the fun thing. Something a friend of mine showed me, and that kids should never try at home. Okay, so I managed to get a noodle out of the boiling water, and this is something a friend showed me. If you have a clean wall in your kitchen, or like me, a fridge door, you can test if the noodles are ready by simply rubbing them against the wall. And I should probably do this slower because you can't really see it on the camera from what I can tell. You can't see it anyways, but point being, this is what I look like, by the way, hi. Point being, if the noodle sticks to the wall or the fridge, they're done. If they pop off, they still need a bit of time. And I don't know, a friend showed me this a while ago, and I've been doing it ever since. It's just so much fun. Okay, so something I forgot to mention earlier, we're gonna need one of these things, whatever they are called, to get our noodles out, and at this point it would be quite useful if you had something to protect your hands from the heat of the pot. But what you're gonna want to do now is just like take this giant pot full of noodles and just throw everything into here. This is steamy! Woohoo! And then just like, I'd advise you to cool the noodles off with some water. Because these are going to be hot, 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 hot. And I don't know why I said hot 3 times. Hot, 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 hot. I said it 5 times. Okay, so we now have cooled off noodles that you can eat! Oh my god! Okay, so let's switch this off, and let's switch this off. Let's drink the rest of the tea. Well, whilst I still have a lot more. And serve the meal, I suppose. Okay, so something that I like to do, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one, is add cheese to the whole creation once it's done. Let's get to what we've all been waiting for. Eating! Okay, so now that I'm getting to eat this creation, I shall add a few things. Firstly, you can probably leave the noodles in a bit longer than I did. I mean, mine are good, but they could be better. And you don't need to cool the noodles down too much. But as a conclusion, I know that time is valuable to Claw. In total, I think I've recorded for about 45 minutes. But that adds the introduction and showing you what you will need and stuff, so it should take you about half an hour probably, the whole thing. So, which may be a lot of time, but you get something good out of it, and it lasts you. I mean, I have a lot left over, a lot, that I will probably eat tonight during the stream, so that is always nice. And I mean, noodles are better warm, of course, but you can eat them cold. Nobody cares. So, in conclusion, this has been Cooking for Claw. The first sort of try out episode. Maybe I will do more, maybe I won't.